Welcome to this week's episode of the Author Collaborative. My guest this week is Mable, who writes swoon-worthy romances, and I've been trying to have her on as a guest for a while now, and she's finally agreed to come on the show. I'm really excited to talk to her about her latest book and how she goes about writing these romances. Please stay connected. We had an issue earlier trying to start the live, and Madhu was unable to join us. Hopefully, we'll be able to resolve this now, and she should be able to join us in a while. I'm going to invite her now and hope, keeping my fingers crossed, that this time there won't be any issue. Hi Tanvi, hello Samim. Thank you all for your patience. Let's hope we'll be able to start the episode this time. I don't know what the issue is. I have restarted the Instagram app, and Madhu has tried using a different device this time. Hopefully, she should be able to join us in a while. I have sent her the invitation. Please stay connected. I am sure she will be able to join us soon. Thank you for your patience, everyone. I'm waiting for the guest to join us so we can begin today's episode. There has been a slight delay because of some technical issues. Extremely sorry for that. She's here in the audience, and hopefully she should be able to join as a guest also now. Hi Niharika, thank you for your patience. Hello Trishu, thank you for joining. Hello Neha. Hi the Indian book holder. I'm waiting for my guest so we can begin today's episode. Hi Nilshri, thank you for your patience and thank you for joining again. Hopefully Madhu will be able to join us soon. Please stay connected. Madhu, if you are here, can you send a request again? I did send you a request, but I guess you are not able to accept it. Nilshri is here with her samosa and coffee. Now you're making me feel hungry, Nilshri. We are waiting for Madhu to join us so we can start today's chat and have a wonderful session where we will both discuss our writing and our books and a lot many other things. It's going to be a really interesting conversation. Do stay connected. I am not sure what the issue is. Madhu, if you are still here, can you let us know in the comments if you are still here? Those of you who are still with us, we have both sent each other the request. Madhu, are you here? Are you able to join us now? I'm sending the request again. Wait. I have sent you a fresh request. See if you have received it. Hi Samir. Good evening. Thank you for joining. I'm waiting for today's guest to join us. Okay. I have got your request, Madhu, and I have accepted it. Let's hope you will be able to join. Yes, finally.
Hi.
Oh my God. Hi. Oh, so good to finally have you on the same screen with me. This
Exactly.
this
Just a
was such
minute,
a
huh? Yeah,
struggle today. And thank you everyone to the
exactly.
audience who have been patient and they have been waiting for us to start the live.
No, yeah, first of all, I'm so sorry that it took so long for me to get online because I was not receiving your request, yeah. I mean, it was not happening at all. I was not getting anything. So I
Chalo koi
think
nahi.
this is Instagram glitch.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Let's get past that. I'm just glad we are sharing the screen and we still have the audience with us. Thank you everyone for your patience.
Thank you all
And
for your patience.
before we go ahead with the episode, Madhu, introduce yourself.
Oh, yes. I'm Madhulika, Madhu or Ira Mable, whatever you know me. I'm author of the Lock series, the three books: Wedlock, Fake Lock, and Love Lock. I mean, if you've read it, you know me. But if you haven't, then go and read my books.
Good pitch.
Yes.
Uh, we are talking about the Lock series, and I have read two of the books. We will be in particular talking about Love Locked, which I have recently read, and I've already reviewed it on my Bookstagram and shared the review with my
Mhm.
audience. Before I go ahead with my questions for you, I'm going to read out a passage from it so people get an idea of what we are talking about. And I'm also going to share the book cover on the screen. So this is what the book looks like. This is the cover, Love Logged. And Madhu's pen name is Ira Mable. So if you are looking for the book on Amazon, don't look for Madhu. Look for Ira Mable and you will find all the three books in the series. Okay, I'm going to read out from the first passages itself. So, prologue. It starts with a prologue and it goes like this. He was going crazy. Kabir Oberoi had never felt the need to escape any situation in his entire life of 32 years. This realization dawned on seeing his girlfriend's futile and sorry attempts to blend in with his friends and family. He wanted to be anywhere but here. A drink in hand, he fidgeted, acutely aware that Meera had asked him not to browse work emails during this party. He would have ignored it outright had it been anyone else. But Meera had become a great friend over a period of time, and he could not deny her wishes. Meera was adorable, but if you got in her way, she transformed into a fire breathing dragon. Adil's influence had certainly rubbed off on her, he grimaced. It was beyond him now how he ended up attending a family drama in the name of a business event instead of working in the office. There was a great deal of work he needed to do. Now I'm going to skip a few episodes and uh, come out to the point where he meets the heroine. It was past midnight and the night sky was stunning when Kabir stepped outside into the garden. Almost every star was visible under a full moon amidst the dark sky, which was a rich gradient of black. A brilliant yellowy white light shimmered around it. He could see the beach from where he stood. The ocean waves leisurely lapped at the shore, a medley of azure and greyish blue that glistened in the starlight. He reached the gazebo, flanked on one side by large trees, and froze mid-step. Squinting into the distance, he pushed his glasses up his nose and realized he wasn't alone. A beautiful woman stood with her back to him on the other side. With the moonlight coming from the front, she appeared to be surrounded by a halo, giving her an angelic appearance. He didn't even need to see her face to know she was beautiful. Her slim body, sheathed in a white dress, enhanced her alluring curves. Damn hot. She had a banging body. So that's how that's how we come across the heroine, and that's how we see
Yes,
how Kabir looks at the heroine.
exactly. And the scene was, I mean, I thought that I had to nail this scene because it was prologue, right? And then the reader gets hooked to it.
Yes,
So the scene, it needed many rewrites. I mean, like I was just going on and on about how and what I should write about it because it had to create that impact.
right. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I have read two books in this series now, and I am sure इतना पढ़ने के बाद तो मुझ में इतनी curiosity आ गई है that I will read the remaining one also very soon, and I'm sure it's the same level of swoon-worthy romance. So my first question to you is, after reading your romances, I could not help but notice that the characters are very authentic, and you know a lot of, I'm sure a lot of uh, plotting has gone into developing their personality traits. So, my first question to you is, how do you go about plotting these romances? Is it the story first for you, or is it the characters first?
Um, Actually, it's a bit of both, because first I have a hint of a story in my mind. And
Hmm.
then to suit that story, I think of a character. But it's not just that. I have to think about an entire person. I mean, different
Hmm.
persons. And
Yes.
so it's like a whole lot of research and thinking and what goes into, I mean, like what kind of personality that character should have. And it's a mixture of everything. And I think that only character is the only thing that leads me to the plot. I mean, that is the only thing that I think of first time. So I'll say the answer is character only. The plot, I
Okay.
mean, it derives itself from the character. I don't have to write it.
That's very interesting. So, which brings me to a follow-up question. Since this is a series, I'm sure you have worked individually on each story, but when you began the first part, did you have a plot line for the other two stories also in mind?
Yes, I mean, the way I started writing my book, it didn't happen overnight. I mean, it just kind of happened, but it didn't happen overnight. It was a thinking process of 3 years.
Oh,
Because three
wow.
years से I had that in mind. मेरे को तीन brothers का. I have to write a story of three brothers.
Okay.
I have to write a series of three brothers. But
Hmm.
I didn't have in my mind कि मेरे को, I mean, what I have to write about the other two brothers.
Okay.
So I just wrote the book one and other two books, their stories, they just followed up. ऐसा हो गया.
Okay.
It's very
That's very
interesting.
interesting.
I mean, even I didn't think about it that way. Abhi, when you asked me, I thought that it was all written here. I had to write this book.
Okay. So, I am just, as you are answering, I am amazed by how differently we write. We have both written romances, and you are saying that you had the plot line from the beginning, from the first book itself, and it was completely different from me. When I wrote the first book of my series, the Love Trials, uh, which was Love Triangle, I had no intention of writing a follow-up book. For me, it was always about Aisha, Viren, and Abhi. At that time, I didn't have any plan of writing a story of the supporting characters also, which follows up in the second book of the series, where I'm writing Gayatri and Varun's story, who are supporting characters in my first book. But I had no intention of writing a follow-up book, as I mentioned. And for me, the story of love and melodrama happened a lot after Love Triangle came out. Probably 5 to 6 months later after the book came out. So
Yes.
my plotting was completely different then. So it's just amazing how differently we work, despite
No, but
writing the same genre.
sometime when I read your first book, na, these characters appealed to me. I always thought that Gayatri is such a bubbly friend. Like she might be having some other story of hers. I mean, like her story. but I never thought that you'll write a story. But it was a really, I mean, it was a surprise for me because I was not knowing that this Gayatri is from Love Triangle. When I
Oh, wow.
started reading, yeah, it was such a pleasant surprise, and I loved both of them.
Thank you. So happy to hear that. And just goes to show how each creator works very differently, right? So it's never
Exactly.
like one formula works for one person, so it will work for another author also. We have to find what works for us the best.
Yes.
Which brings me to my follow up question. We both write romances, and what I have noticed in your writing is that the love scenes that you write, they are very nice. I mean, I have read many romance novels, and somewhere I feel that most authors that I've read, they don't know where to draw the line. Sometimes the love scenes become a little vulgar and cheap, especially for Indian audience. This can be very tricky, because we are not exposed to such culture, and maybe we are not also, we have somewhere in our minds, we are blocked in that matter that yeah, ये इतना ज़्यादा too much information हो गया. As
Ah,
readers also we
ah.
feel that.
Yes, exactly. No,
So
you're
how
right.
how do
Writing,
you draw the line
uh,
while writing such scenes?
too many rewrites, too many. And the final version is the most like the most refined version of what I think. I mean, like, because that should be acceptable and enjoyable and good to read for the readers.
Hmm.
And it's very tricky to decide on I mean that fact that which version is nicer or which version is passionate and emotional and everything, a blend of everything it has to be, because Indian readers are the readers who want everything in one scene only.
Hmm.
They need to
That is
have a
also
bit of everything.
yes.
Yeah, because we are filmy people, we have Bollywood, right?
True. Right.
Seriously, Bollywood is, it's like rag rag mein Bollywood बैठा है, and so we have to write it like that. So just
Very true. Very true.
there is also, yeah, one factor is that we have to consider the vocab. I mean, the kind of words you're using. It
Hmm.
should be
Hmm.
sensitive, mature, and it should lift your scene. It should propel the plot forward, right? It should,
Yes.
and where that scene is placed is also most important
Yes.
fact, that it shouldn't be, I mean, if it suits the story, you can put it at the first page also, but it
Hmm.
should be suitable.
Yes.
It should be in place.
I really like the point that you make, that it should drive the plot forward and it should not be just there for the sake of it,
Yeah,
which is very, very
exactly.
important. And I see a lack of this understanding in a lot of first time authors. They have just put it there to grab eyeballs, and it fails, it's not only comes off as cheap, but it feels like ये क्यों डाला,
It was
नहीं होता तो फिर
unwanted.
चल
Yeah.
जाता.
I mean, it gives you the vibe that it is put in there just for the sake of it. Sometimes it's like that only.
Yeah, which is very
Yeah.
important. If you are a first time author and you are planning to write a romance yourself someday, please listen to me and Madhu and understand that you have to write such scenes only where it is driving the plot forward and it is required. Please don't put it there just for the sake of making it an authentic romance or grabbing eyeballs. Right. So, which brings me to my follow up question. I didn't plan on asking this, but I want to understand from your perspective. Do you feel that, as Indian authors and Indian readers, we have a lack of such writing in our diaspora, and Western authors are more, evolved in this kind of writing? And do you see a change happening in the past few years?
Yes, definitely. We have very less authors who write in such style. I mean, in a descriptive style, where they don't just, they don't skip the scenes like this.
Hmm.
They are very less. And but right today, I mean, like when I read other Indian authors also, I feel that everyone is kind of, growing.
Hmm.
There is it takes time for people's mindset to change and even to
Hmm.
accept that I can write this, because writing such scenes is very tough. It's like breaking your mental boundaries. It's not
Yes.
easy. Yeah, and to put it on the paper and to publish is another different level game.
Yes.
So it
Yes.
will
True.
take time for everyone to accept it, that yes, it's okay to write books with maybe some intimate scenes and everything.
Hmm.
It's a part of the story. You don't have to be ashamed or embarrassed that, whoa, what will happen if someone will read this novel.
Yeah, it's very difficult to let go of that fear,
Yeah.
as especially as women authors, I feel कि यार ये कोई family
Mhm.
member ने पढ़ लिया तो क्या सोचेंगे हमारे बारे में, that becomes very difficult, no, to overcome.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
No, letting
so
go of fear, 1 minute, letting go of fear is that I'm very camera conscious person. So you asked me so many times to be live and I was like, nahi yaar, abhi nahi, I don't have time. And then I thought that no, I have time. I have to let go of this thing that I'm camera conscious. And so then
I am so
that's
happy.
why I accepted. Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that because I remember I've been pushing you like since a year, over a year now, that come on the show. I would love to talk to you and it would be a fun conversation. So, and I'm very happy. It also goes to show that once you come out of your comfort zone, it's really okay. Once you are like out there,
Ah.
you will be you are like that, अब जो होगा देखा जाएगा.
Now you can call me for any kind of live. I'll come. I don't have that kind of mental block now that I can't be online. अभी मेरे को नहीं जाना है. It's not like that.
So happy to hear that, and I would love to have you again, again and again and
Exactly.
again.
Yeah, without this starting glitch, obviously.
Yes, yes, of course.
Yeah,
Okay,
it happened with
Madhu.
me first time, and I was like, oh, what I'll do.
I was on the verge
Mm.
of like, we'll have probably we might have to cancel today's live and postpone it to some other day till we figure out what the issue is. But I'm glad we were able to do it today itself.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, Madhu. That brings me to the end of the questions that I had for you. I leave the floor open to you now.
Okay, so so Manali, I absolutely love to read your book. I mean, Love and Melodrama. I loved Gayatri, I loved Varun, and coincidentally, the scene that you chose to read is the same scene that I chose to read from your book. I mean, that intro wala scene.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'll just read that scene, okay? Hmm. uh, Ting Tong. He was wondering about who might have called Abhi, whether it could be Miss Kulkarni, when the ringing of the doorbell broke his chain of thoughts. I'll get it, he called out as he walked over to check on the visitor. As he began to open the door, the fragrance hit his senses before he saw who it was. It was a sweet, rosy smell inviting him to get lost within its embrace. Then came the jingling of bangles, followed by a flurry of pastel fabric, and he knew right away who the intruder was. Abhi, see what happens when I concentrate on your love story rather than focusing on. She began speaking even before the door was completely open and stopped mid sentence. A few seconds passed while they stared at each other, Varun with curiosity and Gayatri with shyness. Um, he was enjoying the discomfiture as she determinedly looked anywhere but at him while fidgeting continuously with her dupatta. Did you forget something? He asked in an attempt to take the conversation further. Yes, my heart. The second words left her mouth. She stuck her tongue out and hit herself on the forehead with a palm. It was such a cute gesture that Varun laughed out loud and he was tempted to engulf in a hug. Now, I'll forward the scene and I'll read the part that I loved the most. Uh, uh, Wait here, I'll get it for you. He walked into the house, found the said clutch near the Ganesh idol. Grabbing it quickly, he sprinted back to the door before any of his family members came out and started inquiring. Avoiding a crowd, Ravi, his inner self taunted him, but he ignored it. Here you go, he said to her while handing over the clutch. Thank you, she said, opening the clutch, removing her phone. She shuffled some more and shut the clutch after a few seconds, assured that treasure within was intact. Does this mean we have a Dil Ka Rishta now? The laughter that rang out of her mouth was music to his ears. Please don't sing the song now, it's not even a good one. She spoke in between bouts of a continued laugh. Gayu, I thought I heard you. What's up? Varun and Gayatri looked at each other sheepishly before she answered Abhi's question. None of them had realized when he walked up to the door. I forgot my clutch. Anyway, I got it now. Bye. So this entire scene was it was so relatable and it was so filmy, and it's like everyday thing for some people. Like we speak in dialogues, huh? We are Bollywood crazy people.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's like this book was a total treat to read, and I loved the scenes, and there are plenty of it. I mean, if we don't have a time limit, I can keep reading.
Yeah, so I'm glad you picked that particular scene because while I was writing the scene also I was laughing myself कि हाँ ये काफी possible है कि ऐसे ही हुआ होगा ऐसा हो भी सकता है.
हो सकता है. It's I mean like her, her Dil was a phone, yeah. I think I skipped reading that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
No, but
thank you for reading that out.
it all came together very nice, yeah. This book and every scene it connects with each other. I loved it.
Thank you. I'm so happy to hear that.
So, I have some questions for you now.
Okay.
Yeah. So, this book is set in Mumbai, right? And I live in Mumbai, so this was
Hmm.
very relatable for me. But I know that you don't stay in Mumbai, right? But you've written both books that are set in Mumbai. So I have a question that how important is setting an atmosphere in your romance stories? I mean, do you tend to write your stories within familiar settings, or you have any plans to write in some other settings that you've not been to?
So for me, setting is very important, but I think I have consciously placed both the books that I have written so far in Mumbai because that's where I have spent most of my adult life. After my schooling,
अच्छा.
I moved to Mumbai, and from the age of 18 to the age of 30, I was here only. So, like, my very formative years, the adulthood when it began, I have spent in Mumbai, and this city is very, very dear to me. Uh, so most of the places that you see are the places that I have visited. Having said that, there are many spots that I have never visited also. So I once I choose the main setting of the story, I let the characters and the scenes that I am placing those characters in decide where where a particular scene is going to happen. I have
Mm-hmm.
not visited Candy's Cafe. I'm sorry, I have visited Candy's Cafe, but I have not been to Maratha Mandir. I have not seen DDLJ in Maratha Mandir. But Gayatri is such a person that I had to do that particular thing to justify why she's doing it and justify both her and Varun's attachment to the particular movie. It plays such a pivotal
Mm-hmm.
role in that story that their coming together is like a celebration of that movie itself.
Ah,
So, so
exactly.
I have not
She's
been to
crazy
Maratha
about
Mandir,
DL.
and
Ah,
I read upon while I was writing those particular scenes, I read upon Maratha Mandir. I read upon how it looks like, what is the inside of the theater, and what are the show running times, and does it actually happen like that? Is it possible for two people to meet in such a setting where such a thing is possible that they are engrossed in each other, and Varun would be fascinated by such a person who's watching the same movie as him. So yes, the settings are important, but I let the characters decide, not my familiarity with those places decide whether I am going to choose a particular spot or not. In fact, other than my novels, I've written a lot of short stories which include places that I've never visited, especially with my short story collection, Under the Mistletoe and Other Stories. I have placed the stories outside India because Christmas is not necessarily an Indian festival. We don't
ah,
observe it as
exactly.
grandly as uh, people outside India do. So I have
Yes.
placed those stories in places like Europe and USA. And of course, I have never been to those places. So what I do is I either read up a lot about those places, or I watch videos where those places are shown so that I am able to justify them while I am writing about them. So that's how I do my research for setting the stories in those particular places.
Mm-hmm. Good, yeah. Nice to know that because the setting is very important for the story. And
Yes.
even I have not been to Candies and Maratha Mandir, be staying here in Mumbai. Even I haven't been there, but I could, visualize everything like I've been there. So it was a very nice experience reading it. So now you told about your old books. I also wanted to ask you that you also write poetry.
Hmm.
So how does writing poetry? I mean, does it help you writing novels? Does the style seep into your novel writing? I mean,
Uh,
what's your experience writing a novel writing? I mean, because you are a poet also.
I have written poetry since I was a teenager, and now it is like, second skin for me. It comes very easily to me. It's not at all challenging for me. Having said that, yes, it takes effort, but it's not as much of a challenge to write a poem as much as it is to write a short story or a novel for me.
Yeah.
And that's probably why every book that I have written has some sort of poetry in it. Some books, the three of my books are completely poetry books, but poetry does find a bit of its presence in all my books. All eight of my books have some form of poetry in them. Even both my novels, Love Triangle has
Uh,
two poems, and Love and Melodrama also has one poem. So it's
that's
impossible for me to
good.
let go of poetry completely. So this works
Even
as
the
a
poems are beautiful.
thank you so much. This works both as a boon and a curse for me because when I'm writing poetry, it's very easy for me, and I constantly compare and judge myself for not being able to write other forms as easily as I write poems. So
Uh-huh.
that becomes an impediment, but it also propels me to keep challenging myself to become better in other forms of writing that I do. So it works both ways.
Okay, that's good to know. And I have never met a person who writes both. So this was a really good insight. I mean, it was helpful. I thought it would be very easy for you to write because you write poetry and I think it's very tough to write. Yeah, rhyming lines and everything to think so deep and write something. It's very difficult. You have to
So
encapsulate everything in 4 lines, right? Four,
yeah.
5 lines. So it's tough.
So it's interesting that you say that because a lot of authors who read my books, and the ones that are not novels, the ones that are short stories and poetry, they come back and tell me how I am able to put what I want to say in such a short span. In such few lines, I'm able to put across my message, and it
Mhm.
amazes me because for me it's the other way around. I can tell a lot in a few words, but I'm not able to put across my message when I'm doing long form of writing. That becomes a challenge for me. It's the other way around.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, so it's so interesting how uh, the writing process or the creating process differs from person to person, each creative person to person.
Exactly. When I write, I have to stop because I'm too into descriptions. I describe. It's very descriptive, and then I realize that I've lost my point. So then I have to backtrack. I have to rewrite.
Okay.
I have to keep in
So,
mind at what I was writing because it happens to
oh,
me. I mean, I don't delete everything. I cut it and I paste it because I put it somewhere else because I know that it will come to you. It'll be helpful for me.
oh, so
Because
you must be having multiple drafts of the same scenes, right? Then, because you are
same,
unable
same.
to let go.
Yeah, I know. It's. I mean, like I don't know what I should name my files now. It's 1.1, 1.2.
Interesting.
It's
Okay.
difficult, exactly.
Yeah, so that's interesting to know. For me, that
Hmm.
happens when I'm doing the final draft, like draft one, draft two, finally, final, that way. But when
See,
it comes to,
I'm a self-learned writer, right?
hmm,
So I can't write a first draft essay. I have to make that first draft also thoda sa acha.
okay,
So my first draft takes a lot of time, and because of that, I can't finish my first draft early. It's
Okay.
a long process, and I can't write short books because I can't write in short sentence. It's my fault, my flaw.
Uh, we have a question for you. How does she think of those random creative words and some how they fit to that exact part so perfectly? That's the most part where I don't get or understand.
Uh, I use a very common word which is used for in that place, and then I just use thesaurus or try to remember which word will suit here. I'll Google research everything. I have to see that I'm not repeating all the words,
Hmm.
because sometimes it happens. No? We write a story and we don't even realize that we are
Using the
repeating so many
yeah.
words. Yeah, and
Yes.
when you read it in one go, it's like it's so repetitive.
Hmm.
In my editor
And
will be like,
yeah.
ये ले जा फिर से लिख के दे. So I have to see to it that I'm not using too many. I mean, first I was not aware that I was doing it, but now that I've written three books, I've kind of learned from what I'm writing. It's a learning experience, and I just try to write different words with suitable meanings. I don't
Okay.
want to be fancy there, but it should be a different word with a suitable meaning.
Yeah, and in that sense, I feel that we are blessed to live in the age of Google. It becomes easier for
Uh,
us as
exactly.
writers today. And I'm sure this was not the case when people wrote in 80s and 90s. It's much easier for us to look for similar words, simpler words, and to not repeat a certain word again and again. And it's very
Exactly.
important to break the monotony, as you said. I also believe that one should avoid using the same word again and again. If it's possible to use another word, please, that's very important. Because readers immediately catch up on something that, it's not going with the flow. Yeah.
Because as a writer, we write in breaks, right? I don't
Yeah.
write at a one go. So we
Hmm.
don't know that what we are writing exactly. In when you read it in one go, then only you realize that, oh God,
Yes.
it has it is there. It's right there.
Okay. Those of you who are with us, if you have any more questions for us, please post in the comments. And Madhu, we are now coming to my favorite part uh, of the show, which is the rapid fire round. How we'll go is
Okay.
I'll ask you one question and you can ask me one question. Shall I begin?
Yes, yes, sure.
Okay, so my first question to you is a romance besides yours that you loved reading. Can please give us romance book recommendations.
Uh, God, I mean, it's a long list. If I started giving out names now, it will take 2 hours or more than that. But still, I'll tell you some series that I've read, and I can reread it, and they are uh, anti-hero series from Megan March. It's a
Okay.
dark romance. Cora Riley. It's also she has written a 6, 7 book series, and it's a dark romance.
Okay.
And other than that, if you're not speaking about series, then there are many. I love reading Mariana Zapata. This one author I don't know because she's a slow burn queen. She writes ultimate slow burn romances, and there are very less authors that write slow burn very perfectly. She's one of them. So you can read her books also, and even Sandy Lynn, Ruth Cardello. I can just go on. So, and
Okay. Thank you.
I don't want to offend any. Yeah, I don't want to offend anyone who I mean, like I've read and I've missed. So I won't say anything more than that.
Thank you for those recommendations. We have another question from unknown tweet. He's asking both of us, uh, how do you get that specific motivation for writing some great stories? Okay, so I'll go first. For me, the motivation basically happens when a certain story comes to my mind and I'm unable to rest till I put it out into the world. Till I have put it out in word or written it down somewhere. At least till half of the story is written, I am not satisfied. Like there's an unrest in my mind कि मैंने अभी तक लिखा क्यों नहीं है ये story बाहर क्यों नहीं आई है. So that's the kind of motivation that propels me to write the story and put it out. What about you, Madhu?
Same. We are in the same boat. It happens with me because some stories are like that. You have to write it, and maybe it's midnight, maybe it's 2 o'clock in the night. You have to get up. Don't write entire story, but at least jot down the points that you will feel. I mean, I fear that I'll forget it tomorrow morning.
Ah,
So most ideas I get in the midnight only, and then I'm very uneasy if I haven't noted down it anywhere else. But it happens. We both are sailing in the same boat when this is concerned. I don't need a specific motivation or inspiration for writing a new story. It just strikes when it has to.
we have Shilpa here who is saying hello, lovelies. So good to see you both on the same screen. Thank you so much, Shilpa.
Hi, thank you.
Okay, it's your turn for the first rapid fire question you have for me.
Yes. So for the first rapid fire question, I have this question that what's your favorite go-to snack or beverage while writing? Because it's a thing.
It is a thing. I agree.
It
It's
is
a
a
thing.
thing.
So
Yeah.
for me, it's lemon mint tea, dip tea, or hot chocolate. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
am not yet into that category where I am addicted to caffeine. I'm still still on the level where I am more of a dip tea and green tea kind of a person. What about you?
I'm a tea person in the morning, but while writing, I've realized it now after so many months of writing, so many years of writing, that I'm a coffee person while writing. I
Oh,
need
okay.
tea. I need tea in the morning and evening, but while I'm writing, any time I need coffee. I can't
Okay.
write when I'm drinking tea. Yes.
Interesting. Okay. We also have Sejal here who's saying, "Hey ladies, great to see you." Hi Sejal, thank you for
Hi,
joining.
Tej. Hi.
Okay, my next question to you is a source of inspiration for your characters or any of their personality traits.
Well, the personality trait which catches my mind is obviously loyalty. Any character should has to be loyal to the core.
Hmm.
Anyone, any kind
Okay.
of character, villainous or anything, whatever he does, he should do it loyally. So that is the character that I grab onto, that trait I grab onto, and the characters is like I get inspiration from everything around me. It's like even occupations give me inspirations. If I see someone doing this and I feel like, why I should write a story about character of this occupation. So it's it's very it's in everything. Inspiration is in everything, and the trait that I
I
look for is
yeah,
loyalty.
one of your
Yeah.
characters runs a business and she's a baker. So was there a particular inspiration for that?
Inspiration is just that I'm also a food blogger. I mean, not exactly. I don't go to outlets and I eat food and blog. I make food. I mean, I put on the recipe and I take a food photographs. I style it and then I so something is like you write it what's close to your heart
Hmm.
first, and then you explore other areas.
Right.
So because
Okay.
of that, the first series, my female protagonists, they are into food business because I thought that I could do justice writing them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
But
Okay.
also, what about you? I mean, in your books, Gayatri is a dancer, right?
Hmm.
And she's a movie buff, right? So, are you a movie buff or your husband is? I mean, like someone in your family is a movie buff totally. Like because of that only you can write such books. You have to think like
So
that.
Gayatri is a dancer, but I am not. I have two left feet. I've been saying this because a lot of readers, after reading Gayatri's character, they have come back and asked me, "Are you also a dancer? Because how could you go into so much detail and with so much passion about dancing?"
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is that I am not into dancing at all. I only do Bharati dance and Ganpati dance. ये यहाँ तक limited है मेरा dancing का talent. So, but I do know a lot of people. A lot of my friends are dancers and they are very passionate about dancing. So, having observed them from a long time, I think that was the inspiration behind Gayatri's character, and that's how I was able to justify her love for dancing. And as for her filmy trait, yes, I'm also a movie buff. I just made it tenfold more than me because जिस तरह का ड्रामा वो करती है आई एम नॉट दैट ड्रामेटिक आई जस्ट into 10 कर दिया मैंने अपने पागलपन को दैट्स हाउ गायत्री's character came.
All our books are into 10 only. Whatever it is in real life, we do it into 10 and then we write books because obviously they should be different than real life, right?
Yes,
That's why we
exactly.
write books.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We have another question from
So,
unknown tweet. Can you suggest some Insta groups for writers? As I also want to take part in future story writing competitions for that specific recognition. Okay, so for that, I'm not a part of any such Insta group. Are you, Madhu?
no, yeah. And I'm sorry, I'm laughing because of Sejal's question. Are you, she's asking, are you a Garba lover? Yeah.
I'm a
I'm sorry, but I don't know about any Instagram group.
But I can answer the later part of the question where they are asking about story writing competitions for specific
Mhm.
recognition. There are many pages on Instagram and Facebook which come up with regular prompts and challenges for writing. You can follow those and take up motivation that as your motivation for writing, starting your writing journey. And you will also find support on such Instagram pages where you can participate, look at what other people are writing, submit your writings and get feedback from those writers. So those will be a great push for you. Just type writing prompts and writing challenges on Instagram. I'm sure you will find many such pages. And coming to Sejal's question, what about Garba? You are a Guju from Surat. Are you a Garba lover? So
Obviously,
no, no. So I have to
no,
tell you this. I am laughing because this is
Pawan,
just
no.
yeah, this is a running joke in my friends group and family group that I am a fake Guju. First of all, because uh, I don't have a typical Guju accent when it comes to talking and writing. I am better in English than I am in Gujarati. So that's also another joke. कि इसको गुजराती आता नहीं है गुज्जू तो है नहीं
God.
ये या एंड सेकंड सेकंड इज दैट आई एम नॉट अ नवरात्रि फैन तो ये बहुत ऐसा पर्सनली ऑफेंड हो जाते हैं बहुत सारे मेरे
God.
गुज्जू फैमिली मेंबर्स और फ्रेंड्स कि बीइंग अ गुज्जू हाउ कम यू आर नॉट अ नवरात्रि फैन एंड those 9 nights
Yeah.
of the festival how can you stay at home and not go out for dancing मैं हार्डली एक दो दिन जाती हूँ और वो भी now that I've started going I have never felt that push to go out and dance for all those 9 nights so Sejal no sadly I'm not a Navratri fan मैं गरबा कर लेती हूँ but I am not an avid fan or an avid dancer of Garba and Dodia.
Even I go
Okay.
once in a while only, or only one night I go and I don't know how to garba. I just copy what everyone is doing.
Okay, thank God I'm not alone because Sejal is saying don't worry I also
I also, oh, wow, Sejal is with us.
we are not alone in this thank God. Okay,
Hmm.
okay, I think it's your turn.
Yeah, so I asked you, na? Yeah, yes. Do you prefer reading slow burn or Insta love romances? And give us some recommendations if you can.
I like slow burn because I want to see how the characters are developing
Hmm.
personally and also with each other, how
Yeah,
they are growing over the course of the story. I love slow burn romances.
even I.
Recommendation. Uh, I am going to recommend your books only for that.
My books are not slow burn, but I think they are not slow burn because I've read slow burn. I mean, like much more slow burn than my romances. But thanks for recommending. Yeah.
I think all indie authors that I have read in the recent times, Shilpa Suraj, Apesha Rao, they are all wonderful romance writers.
Yeah, really. I love your
Yeah,
books. Yeah.
and even Sundari Venkatraman, read all those. They are all very good romances.
Yeah, I know, yeah, I know. These all the authors I've read and I'm a fan of them.
Yeah. So I'm going to recommend you, Shilpa, Apeksha, Sundari ma'am, all these.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
So,
So my next
yeah,
question to you is a genre that you haven't explored as a writer yet. You have read, but you have not explored as a writer.
fantasy, fantasy romance. I love reading that category, but I have not explored writing because I I don't know, yeah, if I'll try it because when you read something so good, you have to write which matches up to it. So
Hmm.
maybe sometime in future, but I love reading fantasy, and it's all started with Harry Potter,
Uh,
and now it's all yeah. I mean, I'm a Potterhead through and through.
Same.
Harry Potter season is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Potterhead for life. Yes.
exactly. So next question for you, right? Give us one male and one female favorite character that you wrote from your books.
Male is Viren Joshi for life. He's always going to be my favorite
Yeah,
because when I was writing him, I fell in love with him. I'm like, ऐसा लड़का चाहिए. Even if you know you are not romantically involved with that person, you want such a person as your friend, someone who will
yeah,
always be in your corner and support you silently also. So yeah,
mhm,
Viren Joshi and female to Aisha Banerjee always.
yeah. She is bang on.
Yeah, so she's like total like सब कुछ कर लेती है ये लड़की और इतना कॉन्फिडेंस कहाँ से आता है इसको.
Seriously, confidence ही आना चाहिए बस.
Yeah, so Viren and Aisha, these two are the
Exactly.
characters for now that out of all the characters that I have written, these two are my favorite. Okay,
True.
I have an interesting question for you now. The last item that you ate or drank is a part of the title of your next story. What will be that title?
Oh God, ate or drank. I ate Damalu in the morning, so I can't make a story title with Damalu, but I drank tea in the evening, so
Hmm.
maybe terrific love, a
Oh,
cozy romance.
oh
Yeah.
wow. I have given you a motivation and a
Yeah, I
story
know.
idea. Now
Yeah.
you have to write it.
I'll write it. It will start in a maybe cafe where the girl will order a maybe chai tea latte and the boy will say it's not chai tea latte. What is this?
Please get your facts
So let's see,
right.
yeah. Huh?
So
It
please
can
get your
start like
facts
that.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a very good
exactly.
starting scene
Good
for the,
starting.
yeah.
Exactly.
Meet cute अच्छा रहेगा. करो ये.
Ah, good meet you. I'll have I have to finish what I'm writing first and then I'll think about it because as
But
usual,
put this,
like oh,
write this idea down. Otherwise, you
I'll
will
write
forget.
it. Yes,
हाँ.
no, I'll write it. So the next question for you is there a real life love story that inspire you while writing? And if yes, is it yours? Is it yours?
Mine, yes, because it's an unconventional romance. Mine and my husband's. We met through an arranged marriage meeting set up through common friends and family friends. But yes, it's a very huge motivating factor in my writing of romances. Also, around me, I have a lot of unconventional couples like myself, like my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, both sides, from my maternal side and from my in-laws side. So those also, my parents, of course, and then my grandparents. I mean,
Oh
to
wow,
be together with one person for 50 plus years, that's like a huge achievement. I mean, not only have they grown together, but individually also they have changed so much and seen so much together. So
that's
yeah,
another level commitment. Yes,
so
yes.
I observe the little things that the couples around me do for each other, and
Mhm.
how their
Yeah,
dynamics are. So that becomes a very big part for me in to put in the stories. I might not remember who that particular trait or thing came from, but I have it in the back of my mind. If I observed a couple doing something for each other, मेरे दिमाग में रह जाएगा. I might not remember कि मुझे किसने ये इंस्पिरेशन दिया है,
हाँ,
but
हाँ,
वो
हाँ.
रहेगा मेरे दिमाग में.
It's a little things, yeah. That only
Yes.
matters, and we can, into 10 kar dena when we are writing.
हाँ वही
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
Okay. My last question for you is a place or a holiday destination that you want to set your story in, but haven't got the chance to. Why have you not done so? And when can we see it?
Oh God. Acha. So there are many places and destinations that I'd like to, write my story in. But beach town, I love beach towns. I mean, beach town gives a vibe like anything.
Hmm.
Cute small town romance can be written perfectly in a beach town. Like, uh, हो सकता है. You've seen it in movies also, right? So I want to write story in Goa, set in
Hmm.
Goa. Or if you
Wow.
want to make the story exotic, then maybe Santorini Island, maybe
Hmm.
Amalfi Coast, whatever it is. It would be a billionaire romance then. But
Ah.
I have this, yeah, I have these locations in my head, but obviously I can't go to these exotic locations itne jaldi, so I'll have to, resort to Google first. And I'll write the Goa wala first because I've been Goa many times. So it'll be easy for
Yeah.
me to write.
Goa story will be nice. Local भी हो जाएगा और exotic भी हो ही
हाँ,
जाएगा.
सब हो जाएगा. Exotic भी हो ही जाएगा. थोड़ा देसी sort of.
Yes.
Yes.
Attainable भी है, relatable भी हो जाएगा.
हाँ, relatable भी हो जाएगा. So
Right.
my last question for you is that what's your go-to soundtrack for writing romantic scenes or in general while writing, not just romantic scenes, but
No,
even romantic scenes?
for me, this keeps changing as per the couple or as per the scene that I'm
Uh,
writing. So, for love and melodrama, one particular song that I kept going back to was Gina uh, from Badlapur. That was the song I kept playing on loop, Gina, because that's also a song that the couple,
the,
the lead couple, they, yeah,
uh, I felt so bad when I read your unique happy ending, but seriously, I was like, oh no, nay, I felt so bad. It was so emotional, and exactly the song suits everything what you've written. It's a nice
yeah,
song.
so I
Yeah.
kept playing that particular song. And for the other scenes, yeah, I have written a very elaborate Sangeet function for them. So for those particular
Mm-hmm.
scenes, I kept playing one song after the other. Uh, so
Acha,
yeah,
okay.
the, huh. So yeah, there's Kesaria. There's also the songs that she dedicates to her father from
Mm-hmm.
Razi.
Mm-hmm.
What's that song?
Razi, yes.
Huh.
हाँ, वो दिलबरो ना,
Huh.
I guess. वो
Baro. That
Tena
also
Tena.
I kept playing on loop.
Yes. हाँ.
There, so
Mm-hmm.
Kesariya Dilbaro. The playlist was continuously changing while I was writing those scenes, and I kept googling also कि इस
हाँ.
situation में कौन सा song
हाँ.
बैठेगा.
Exactly.
And then I kept playing that particular song while I was writing the scene. So yeah, it was very dynamic
Mm.
that way for me. And for Love Triangle, one particular song that I kept playing on loop was Bang Bang. Kyuki that's the song
Oh,
that
love
yeah
that song. Love that song. I love Ritik, and it's a
yeah
treat to
yeah
watch him dance also.
yeah.
Not just audio. The entire song is
And
like,
yeah, so that was also the song where we begin to understand that Aisha is probably more inclined towards this particular character than the other character.
the character. Yes.
So
The
yeah,
stories have this dilemma for the girl, huh? Like, कुछ तो dilemma होता है and she has to figure things out, but she does it. She
yeah.
does it beautifully. Yes.
I'm
So
glad
for
that comes
me, when I
across.
write, I'm a very extreme music listener, music lover. एक तो मेरा होता है तो typical Bollywood or else it's full on Hollywood pop. So I can't. I'm a mood listener.
Yeah.
I don't have such kind of, yeah. It's
Okay.
even if it's not related to what I'm writing, it totally depends on my mood. I
Hmm.
can't listen according to the scene, and I don't need music while I'm writing. I'll
Okay.
listen to it, then I'll shut it off, and then I'll write. So
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
uh, even you asked me such questions, and then I had to think about it. What I mean, what really takes while I'm writing. So Even I got to know it right now.
Okay, so you don't like any sound around you when you are writing.
No. Only when my daughter is calling me mama mama, that is the only background noise that I can listen to when I'm writing. Nahi to it's like total silence.
Interesting. So we are different in that manner also.
Yeah. Because if I have to be inspired, I listen to the music. वो उसके पहले का time it's dedicated to music. I'll listen to it. What I want to, I'll keep it in mind, and then it gives me inspiration to write something. फिर वो I do it. So
Okay.
even I
So
was not knowing it. Yeah, I do it everything like that. I mean ये cycle हो गया है. I was not knowing.
hmm,
I realized that I do this.
that's nice to know. We still have. Are we missing out on anyone's questions from anyone?
No,
No, I think we
I
answered
don't
most
think
of
so.
the questions.
Yeah.
Those of you who are still with us, and if you have any questions for us, please feel free to ask in the comments. This was such a fun conversation, Madhu, and I'm very happy that you agreed to come on the show, and we had a great time talking to each other. At least I did. I don't know about you,
No,
but this was really
no, no,
nice
no,
for
no.
me.
Even I had a great time. Yeah, it was. This was this was an important moment for me to decide and come live. And when it was not happening, I was like, oh shit, it's not happening. Yeah, then. But thankfully, it happened,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
it did.
had so much. Um,
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Really, we
Thanks for
can do this
coming,
some other
and
time also.
we
Yes.
learned so much from each other, not just about writing. It's fun to know about
In
personality traits
general
also.
too. Yes. Exactly.
Thank you to everyone who joined us, and thank you. A bigger thank you to those of you who were able to join us after such a long wait, after so many glitches, and not being able to start the live.
So thank you everyone for joining us, and I'm sorry that I joined late, but
It's okay. We had a great time,
yeah,
and we are just
yeah,
glad that you were here.
all is
Yeah.
all is
Thank you, Madhu, and to
yes.
everyone who
Thanks,
joined us.
Nidali.
Yeah. Have a
Thank
great
you.
weekend, everyone. Bye.
You too. Bye bye.